Hello, this is Mr. Jarrett, and in this video tutorial, I'm going to help you model this part. So first off, it is in millimeters, so it's whole numbers. It's a lot easier to work with. We also notice that we're drawing on the front view, and the origin is down here. So it's not actually attached to any of the part, but the origin is very important because everything is built off of this. You can see there are 4 construction lines coming right off of the origin that all help define this entire thing. There's also a lot of curves here that do not have dimensions. Well, all of those curves will be fully defined once we make them tangent to the other lines, and all of the other lines are locked in based off of constraints and dimensions. So I'm going to pull this to my other screen. In SOLIDWORKS, I'm going to start a new part. I'm going to make this set to millimeters for our units. And we're going to be sketching on the front plane. So I am first going to start by just drawing in those circles. So I'm going to get my circle tool, and up here I'll put a circle, and then I'll put 2 more down here. Okay, hit escape. And both of these circles down at the bottom, those are going to be set to equal. They're the exact same size. You can see that in the picture. They're centers, so I'm going to select the center point, hold in shift, select the other center point. They're going to be horizontal from one another, straight across. And you can also see that in the picture. There's a line that kind of connects the two. So now I can put some dimensions in. This circle has a diameter of 16. These have a diameter of 20. It shows that these bottom circles up from the origin. So I'm going to click the origin in one of the circles, straight up. Make sure you're not on an angle. Straight up is set to 30. Shows that the two circles are 40 apart from one another, and that one of them, doesn't matter which one you do, from the origin is left or right 20. So that just fully defined those, and now they're centered. Now as far as this one goes, that is actually connected to a construction line. So I'm going to get my line tool. I'm going to mark for construction. I'm going to start way out here somewhere. Just click, come down to your origin, connect to your origin. I'm going to go back up to the center of this circle and click. And just go straight across till I'm vertical. You see how that kind of projected that. Click again, back to my origin, and then another one up here. Now, why did I do that? Because it's easier. You just don't have to get off of the line tool as much. So I'll hit escape, and this line we really don't need. Not that it would affect anything, but I don't really need this, so I'm just going to delete it. I just clicked on it and I hit delete on my keyboard. Now I want to make sure that this is a vertical line. So you can see there's my vertical constraint right next to it. If you don't have that, you're going to want to select it and select vertical. Okay. Now we can dimension this construction line. So get your dimension tool. And you want to select that construction line. And when you're dimensioning this, you want to be on an aligned angle. Okay, an aligned angle, meaning you don't want it to be vertical and you don't want it to be horizontal. You want it to be in line with or aligned with the angle of that construction line. So this is set to 100. Okay, and it's still blue because we haven't defined the rest of these. So it says that in between these two is 30 degrees. Okay, in between these two are 15 degrees. And we can just assume that this to the center is also 30. It's symmetrical. Okay. So I'm going to get off my dimension tool, and I'm going to actually drag these construction lines out a little bit because it'll help to have them out here. And I'll also space this out some more so it's not in our way. Okay. So now that we have all that set in place, We can go ahead and do that slot tool that's in the middle, okay? And if I hit the drop down, we have 4 different types of slots. So since it's curving, we either want the 3-point arcing slot or the center point arcing slot. Well, if I pull this to the side, you can actually see that this slot has a radius of 0.7 or of 75, and if you follow that arrow, it's actually coming from the origin. So that means there is a center point that's defined. So I want the center point arcing slot. That's going to be my origin. I'm going to move up here and I'm going to select my first construction line and wrap all the way over to the other construction line on the far side. Just make it a certain distance or a thickness. The measurement in between the top arc and the bottom arc is 20, so that gives it its thickness. And the construction line that goes through the middle, the arcing one, that's going to have a radius of 75. So the nice thing with having these construction lines here, it gave us a start and stop spot. The slot also slides up and down it, and you can see all of the points are perfectly in line with those construction lines. So that whole inside is now done. Now the tough part, that's going to be the outside. So you're going to see on this, if you sit back and look close a little bit before you just start drawing, if you look at some of these, you can see that all the ones with a radius actually have a defined center point. So this one has a center point, starts right here, it connects to the construction line, and it wraps over, and it's actually coincident with that construction line. Okay, this one up here at the top comes from the center, but it does not have a measurement, so I'm just going to kind of loop that around. You can see we have a tangent one that's connected to that construction line and up. Same thing over here, it's connected there and over to the construction line. This one here is also coming right off of that center, so they are the exact same. That one's not defined, so we don't know where the center point is, but since you don't see one floating around, I'm guessing it's from way down here at the origin. This one actually has a defined center right at the bottom of the circle. Same thing with this one, right at the bottom of the circle. And this one, it doesn't show where the center point is because it's probably way out here. So I'm actually going to use my center point arc. I'm going to work my way around and then go back with a whole bunch of tangent arcs. So center point arc. Let's just start on this one over here. So I'll click there, move up on my construction line, click, and I'm just going to wrap this around here. Do my other one over here. Okay. I'm going to do the one on this side. Follow your construction line. Just wrap it around somewhere. And now the two that are a little bit strange. If you move your mouse over your circle and just pause, you'll notice that there's 4 little yellow diamonds that pop up. The bottom diamond is going to be our center point. So we want one that's just here to here. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing over here. So I'm just generically kind of sketching this out. It doesn't have any perfect form yet. Nothing's lined up or anything like that. All right. So then up here, let's do our 3-point arc because we don't really know where the center point is for this. I don't want to assume that it's way down here. So I'll just click on this part. It wraps over to this other construction line, and I'll just kind of move it up. Okay. Then I'm going to go to the tangent arc, and these are all tangent. So let's select there and make sure it's tangent, and it didn't go tangent, so I'll have to go back and fix that. I'm going to select there and there, make sure that's tangent as well. Okay, and I think I accidentally made that arc the wrong way. So I might need to readjust this first. Then I can try it. There we go. So mine curved the other way on accident. Okay. Don't think that this is an arc. A lot of people do that. Don't make that mistake. So this is actually a straight line. Okay, connects. And that's going to be tangent. And we'll have to come back and make that tangent there. This is also connected. Those are tangent. So before we put this one in and things go really crazy with all this, let's go back and make all the spots tangent that need to be. So first off, this line that I just drew down here should be horizontal. Okay, this should be tangent. And notice I'm just clicking on the dot. You can, however, select one line, hold it shift, and select the other. Because for some reason, if you select the two lines, tangent shows up over here, but if you click on the dot, it does not. So I am getting it by that little pop-up that pops up right here. So whatever you feel comfortable with. That's tangent. This one is not, so I'm going to select both of them, holding in shift and select tangent. And I've got tangency there, there, there. Here I do not. So I'm going to select one, holding shift, select the other, make that tangent. Here I have tangency. So now I'm back to where I was. Okay. So here I'll get my tangent arc. I'm going to click on the top one, and I want it to be arcing out like this. So make sure yours is. If it's not, then you probably have to readjust one of these dots first. Okay. Then I will select both of those, make those tangent as well. Now everything is tangent the whole way around. So all we have to do is dimension this. So this is 20. The other one's 20. It shows this one being 15. Down here, these are both 15. Okay, this one I don't even have to define really, because that's going to be 15, as you can see. You'll just over-define it. So how do we get these three blue lines fully defined? Well, looking back at our picture, we can see here that this point is actually coincident with this arc. And you can tell because the radius passes right through it. And then up here, the center point of this arc is right here on this construction line. So it's also coincident. So I'm going to select this dot, hold in shift and the arc. I'm going to make them coincident. Fully defines that. And up here you can also see that's real close. So I'm going to select the center point and this vertical construction line and make those coincident. And it will readjust everything and lock it into place. So it should be fully defined now. If these construction lines bother you, you can pull them down until they lock into something. But they won't matter either way because it's a construction line. And then we can go ahead and extrude. It says the material thickness is 10 and the Z is positive, so that means it's going forward. The material is oak for some odd reason, so we're going to edit the material, go all the way down to the wood folder and select oak. I can't imagine making this out of oak. I don't know what you would use this for. But we're going to evaluate this, and we should get 32.13 grams. It looks like our volume is correct, and so is our surface area, as well as our center of mass. So if you got that answer, you can save this and move on to the next one. If you did not, go back into your sketch and have fun trying to figure out what tiny relation probably messed this up, because this one is a very tricky part to draw. But good luck.